Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Cami. So for today's video, we are going to be talking about the palette that broke the internet. That is the PUR X RawBeautyKristi palette. If you'd like to see my thoughts, my eye looks, and my first impressions on this palette, just keep watching. Alright, so we are all zoomed in, so we can go ahead and go into the palette. I think I'm going to do one side on one eye and the other side on the other eye. Please excuse my nails. They are a little janky right now and we're just gonna have to deal with it. So let's do this. I think I'm gonna start off with the more neutral side of the palette. I'm gonna take my whole heart, this creamy shade right here, and put that all over the lid. I'm gonna use a Morphe M224 to do that. I'm gonna put the neutral side on this side and then the colorful side on this side. I actually did try to film this video before, so I actually have the eye look that I'm gonna do today on this eye already up on my Instagram. So shameless plug, please follow me on my Instagram. It's CamiGraceMU. I'd love to have more friends on there and be able to talk to you guys in the live stories and stuff. I think that'd be so much fun, so please follow me over there. But yeah, I did post this eye look already on there because I did try to film this video last week, but it didn't go very well because my SD card just crapped out on me. So I got a new one and here we are trying to refilm this again. Now I want to take that Camelot shade. It's like a really pretty mustardy yellow color. I'm going to take my big fluffy brush, this is the M441, and just disperse that all in the crease. Last week when I used this, it was just so beautiful, just blown out in the crease. This is probably one of my favorite colors in the palette. Granted, I have not tried the other side yet, so we'll see. Now to deepen up the crease, I'm gonna go into copper boxes right here, and I'm going to take my M433 and just put that a little bit lower than the Camelot shade. Those two colors just blend beautifully together because Copper Boxes does have a very beautiful yellowish undertone to it. I'm gonna go back in with my M441 and just blend that out again with the Camelot shade. I did lose it when I put the Copper Boxes, so I'm trying to reinforce it by blending out a Copper Boxes shade with that color. Now to deepen up the crease even more, I'm gonna go in with B. This color right here. I love that the rows kind of correspond with what eye you can do, so I'm going ahead and just using this whole line. You can make a beautiful eye with this line or this line. Definitely love how she placed all of the colors there. So I'm going back in with my M433. I'm definitely just putting this in the outer V, outer corner area to just deepen it up a little bit more. I love making my eyes look smoky, so I definitely love going pretty deep in the outer corner. And honestly, before, I was so scared to go to the deep end of the palette because I just wanted to keep it very neutral, especially when it's starting out. But once you do it, you'll never go back because it's such a beautiful contrast from a light eye to a really dark outer corner. For my lid, I'm gonna go in with the only shimmer shade on this side, Golden Ticket, and I will be spraying my brush because I do remember from trying it last week that you do need to spray your brush. I don't know if you guys know RawBeautyKristi or have been watching her, but I've definitely found her within the last year, and then with the pandemic, I have definitely been watching her more and more. I'm just so happy for her. She has this palette and she's pregnant. That's just an incredible year to have. I'm just so happy for her. I'm gonna go back into B and blend out the outer corner and the shimmer shade. So yeah, this palette absolutely broke the internet. This palette came out on a Sunday and I was working, so right at when it launched, I was like, okay, I need to go take a break and try to get this palette. And I thought it was gonna be this very simple thing, but it absolutely aired out everything because it broke the internet. There was just so many people on there and PUR could not hold down the fort whatsoever. It was crazy. I'm gonna go in with my smudger brush, the M508, and B again, and just smudge that lower lash line. So I was on the website on and off from 9 a.m. to probably 2. And then I went to the gym for my break. I saw that they put a queue in. So I signed up for the queue. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym. Hopefully by the end of my workout, I will be on the website by then. Now I'm gonna take Camelot, smudge that out with my M506. So I was right. By the end of my workout, I was out of the queue and into the website. But every time I tried to put my card in and press place order, it would just kick me out and say there was an error. So I had to do it all over again, and the pallet would come out of my cart, and then I would have to put it in my cart and then put in all my information again, and then it would say error. So I was just so frustrated because throughout the whole day, it just kept kicking me out, then kicking out my pallet, then racing all of my information, telling me there was an error. So I was just so frustrated. And then by like, I don't know, 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock, Kristi was like, don't even try to get in the queue anymore. Like, there's just not enough pallets anymore. So I was so upset because I wasn't able to get this pallet. The lightest shimmer on this side is Golden Ticket. So I'm gonna flip to the more colorful side and take Cafe Disco and put that on the inner corner. I'm gonna use an M152 to put that on the inner corner. When I heard that she was doing a restock, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this palette because I've heard so many good things about it. I'm really excited and I wanna support her. I was waiting for the pre-order, and then right before the pre-orders, she had this like, super long list of Q&As, and somewhere in the mix of there, it said that this palette was gonna come to Ulta, and they said it's very limited stock, so like don't rely on it. Now I'm going to highlight the brow bone using my Whole Heart, that cream shade right here. So the day it came out for pre-order, I believe that night or the next day it was supposed to come to Ulta, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait and see if I can get it on Ulta. So I did wait until it came to Ulta. I believe Ulta is based on the eastern side. So I was like, okay, so I live in Pacific Standard Time, so it'll be 9 o'clock p.m. when it's 12 o'clock over there, Eastern Standard Time. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start stalking the website at 9 o'clock. And like, I just kept looking at it periodically to see if the palette came, and it finally did. And I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get this in my car and check out as fast as I can, because I just knew once people found out that it was at Ulta, it would sell out so quickly. So I ordered it even before Trendmood put it on their page. That's how much I was stalking the Ulta page to see if I could get this palette, because I was just so excited. I am so happy to have this in my hands. It took a long journey to get it, but I'm just so glad that I was able to get it, and I was able to get it at Ulta and get my points. So really happy with this. So this eye is all done. I'm gonna go put on some mascara and we will be right back. So this is the neutral side of the palette eye, and I just love it. It just absolutely screams fall to me. It is gorgeous. It truly is just beautiful, very simple, but very like soft glam. I just love it. I love this eye, and I love this. And this will probably be the look that I create the most with this palette, because I just think it's such a beautiful eye. Now that we are done with the neutral side, let's go ahead and move on to the more colorful side. So looking at this palette, this is definitely just a rainbow of color, and I love that. I love that she made it so that one side is more colorful and one side is more neutral. So I think I want to make Garden State the focal point of the eye, because I think it's such a beautiful color. It's this teal color, teal greenish color right here. I'm going to take my M441 again and take Dandelion, this yellow color right here. This color is much more of a brighter yellow than Camelot on the neutral side. Much more colorful, not as muted and mustardy as the other side. Definitely not as pigmented either, but yellows are hard to make. This is a beautiful yellow. Now I'm going to take my M433 and Am I Orange and just put that a little bit lower than the Dandelion shade. So one thing to note about this palette is there is a bit of kickback, but not a lot of fallout on my face. But yeah, you definitely have to tap your brush or else it'll get everywhere. So that orange shade is definitely much more vibrant and pigmented than the yellow shade. I want to reinforce that yellow shade because it definitely got lost when they put in the orange. So I'm gonna go back in and just blend out the Am I Orange shade a little bit more. I think these two colors are absolutely beautiful together. Now I'm gonna take my M166 and Garden State, and we're gonna just pack that on to the lid. Hopefully there won't be a lot of fallout because I already did my face makeup. I am tapping it on to my eye rather than sweeping it, because then it'll cause less fallout and actually be more pigmented if you just pat it on there. I definitely think with this color you'll probably have to layer it on just because it's such a vibrant shade. That was 1 or 2 layers and it looks a lot better. Very beautiful shade. It's like giving me mermaid vibes, if that makes any sense at all. I'm gonna try to go back into the yellow and the orange and reinforce that. Back in with Am I Orange and the M433 and just try to blend that color a little bit more. Back in with my fluffy brush and Dandelion, blend out the orange shade. That's the thing about eyeshadow, it's a lot of blending. It's just like blend, 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 because you don't want any harsh lines between any of the colors, especially when you're working with colors like these, like vibrant colors. You definitely don't want a distinction between the green and the orange and the yellow unless you're going for that look. I'm gonna go reinforce Garden State again, just on the inner corner right at the lash line. But yeah, especially with vibrant shades, you will lose pigment as you go. So you just have to keep blending, packing, keep reinforcing, but at some point you'll get exactly what you want, and that is where I'm at right now. So the bottom lash line, I think I'm going to smudge Am I Orange on the lower lash line, and I'm gonna use that with my M508, but just put that right at the lower lash line. And then take my M506 and Dandelion, the yellow shade. For the inner corner, we're gonna go into Cafe Disco, the only shimmer shade on this side. And I'm gonna take my M152 to do this. And then last but not least, we are going to highlight the brow bone. I'm gonna use this side. This is Lumos. This is a white shade. I actually appreciate that there is a white shade, because if something is too dark or not the right color, you can always lighten it up and make like pastel colors with that white shade. So like you can mix the white shade with the pink shade and create like a pastel pink color, or pretty much any of the colors and make a pastel color. So we are done with the more colorful side. I'm gonna go put on some mascara and we will be back to see the final eye look. All right guys, so I put on some liner and mascara. So this is the final eye look. I love the colors together. I think Garden State is such a beautiful color. The orange and the yellow just look beautiful together, like a little sunset. I definitely love this eye look. I think it's beautiful. This side is definitely much more wearable than this side, and I look a little crazy because right now I have 2 different eye looks. This side just looks so beautiful, so fun. The colors performed beautifully. I mean, there was some packing and some like building, nothing out of the ordinary for vibrant colors. For this side, it's a beautiful soft glam fall eye look. I love the warmer yellow tones in it. I think it's beautiful. I love both eye looks. I love how both eye looks came out. Let's go ahead and zoom out and we will go ahead and talk about the palette. All right guys, so this is the 2 eye looks all zoomed out. Again, I love both of them. So let's go ahead and just dive into my thoughts onto the palette. This palette, the collaboration between PUR and RawBeautyKristi. RawBeautyKristi is a YouTuber here and I highly recommend watching her. She is such a beautiful person and I strive to be like her channel, where she just talks about life and does makeup and talks with us like she's our best friend, and that's what I want to do too. So she's definitely an inspiration to me. I love the artwork that she came up with on this palette. I love that it's kind of like a shiny black on a matte black packaging. All of these artwork that she created was made by her. She drew it and it means, you know, different things to her. I love that she put so much of herself into this palette, and I do love that she did the 2 different sides, one being colorful and one being neutral. It is not a new concept. I knew Shan XO did it, but I love that she made one side more colorful and one side more neutral. Both sides do have a mirror, so I love that because of course I love mirrors, and they're pretty good quality mirrors. They're not cheaping out on this palette. Speaking of cheap, not in a bad way, this palette was actually retailing for $34. I purchased it on Ulta, like I said, so it retailed there for $36, which it's fine. I get the points. I didn't really care. But that is a phenomenal price for a palette. Like a palette at Anastasia Beverly Hills, they're like 12 or 14 pan eyeshadow palettes are like $42 to $45, and this is 18 shades for $34. So that is incredible. So I think this palette is really greatly priced. Sadly, I do not think this is available anymore. It is not available on Ulta. I know she said that after the pre-orders, that was it. This wasn't going to be restocked again. That makes me really sad because now people that have wanted it won't be able to get it, and people that see this video won't get it. So I really apologize for those people, but I still wanted to do this eye look, and I saw in the comments that you guys still wanted to see this. So maybe if you do have this palette, you can recreate these eye looks, or you know, if you have a similar palette, you can create these eye looks as well. I do love the packaging and the colors on both sides. Let's go ahead and talk about the neutral side first. There are so many transitional shades, which is super important to me in my opinion, because I love changing the transition shade in my crease all the time. And then I also love that there is a dark brown as well, because then I can deepen my outer corner. And then I love that there is a matte white shade or a matte bone color shade. Those are like three of my most important things in a palette, is to have multiple transition shades, a dark deepening shade, and a light bone color shade. Everything else is kind of like nice things to add on to it, but those are kind of like my criteria to make a perfect palette. This is truly great. I love the purple shadow and the pink shadow. I think those are going to be beautiful in the crease as well, or all over the eyelid, so I'm excited to play around with those as well. But this side actually just screams so much fall to me, and I know that I will be using it a lot during fall, so I'm really excited to see all the eye looks that I come up with in fall. I'll probably still use it now and then onto fall because there's no beauty rules, but this palette is just beautiful for the fall and just gives me such fall vibes. The shades are beautiful. They swatched amazingly. I think that the formula is just amazing, and I've never tried any PUR eyeshadows before. I know I got one palette in BoxyCharm, but I just never touched it because I just wasn't interested in it. This was my first try with PUR Cosmetics eyeshadows, and I can say that I am shocked by it and I love it. Let's go ahead and now talk about the colorful side. So like the other side, that screamed more fall. This definitely screams more summer. And I love that you are able to put a neutral eye look on, and then maybe if you want to pop a color, you just go to the other side and put this pop of color on the lash line or something like that, you know, like you can mix and match both sides. You don't have to stick to one side. I do love that the colors aren't intermingled with the neutral colors, so that a person that can't come up with eye looks is able to just look at one side and see it. The other side, like I said in the tutorial, does have rows where you can make eye looks with. This one isn't really that way. It's kind of more of like a Roy G. Biv setup. The colors are so vibrant. The swatches are just so beautiful as well. I really love the yellow shade. I mean, I'm a yellow shade colored lover, and the orange shade also worked out really well. Also love that she has the white shade, like I said, because then you can mix the white shade with any of the colors and just make like a more pastel, lighter color. So that just makes the palette more diverse, and I love that about this palette. These are just such beautiful colors, and they're kind of in the more wearable, colorful section, because I believe she did say she tried to make it more wearable. Like Garden State is not really like a big green color. It's kind of more teal-ish green color, which is beautiful. The one downside to this palette, if you are a shimmer lover, there are only two shimmers right in the middle of both of them. So on the colorful side, it's Cafe Disco, and then on the neutral side is Golden Ticket. So if you love using shimmer shades, this palette might not be for you. I do like shimmer, but I also do love matte, so I don't see a problem with it. I think the eye look that I came up with is very beautiful, and I have so many other more eye looks that I want to create. It's just such an inspirational palette. That's when I know that a palette is good, is when it's just so inspirational, and also when it has the three criteria that I said. But I also love that she did the more rose gold lettering on the neutral side and the more calligraphic coloring on the colorful side to show which side is which. All in all, I do really love this palette. I think it's a great palette, and I wish it wasn't limited edition. I wish this was more available. I wish you would come out with it again, because these are beautiful shadows, beautiful colors, beautiful pigmentation, and I can't rave about this palette enough. I'm probably going to be playing with it more, but probably not on camera because sadly you guys can't get it anymore, and I don't want to promote something that isn't available, which is why I was so iffy about doing a video on it. That is my thoughts on the PUR X RawBeautyKristi palette. Alright guys, so that is the video. Please let me know down below if you were able to get this palette. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!